All right. We are going live to many people who will be joining us in about 5 more minutes. So I'm going to put this out there to my Facebook crowd again. If they care to watch, they could see me here running live full blast. Um, what is unique is that this is an opportunity to share all of this information in our lives, and this is just a gorgeous opportunity today. So we're going to do the show in about 5 minutes, actually 4 minutes. So the show is the Age of Remembrance. So let me begin, as a few people will be coming in pretty much, and I want people to see this, and it's essential that we have all parties on board, as they say. This is an interesting show, but it's going to be a short show. The reason for that is that I have another appointment meeting that I have to attend, so I want to make sure I get that meeting going, and I want people to know that we're going to talk about some things today that will help us move forward in our lives, and it is also good for us to realize that we can receive our blessings. We just gotta keep moving forward in the realms of blessings. Blessings just don't roll in your hand necessarily, and we should realize that. But we want to all move forward with greatness. So another 2 minutes, we're going to be going live, and people who can catch this show will be able to catch this show shortly, and they can also later, if they so desire, they can also later see the show up on my YouTube channel. So you can always see a show, never miss a show. And so now is that time, and people might just see me begin to bless through divine power and by divine grace. Know that whoever has the opportunity to watch this show today also will receive a blessing. Consider it a seed in your life, a seed of divine grace and remembrance, a seed of unconditional love and understanding that enters your life this day. Know that all that you can hold in your heart, but it's going to overflow in your heart, it's going to overflow in your mind. It's going to overflow so that you can grow and glow. Now, I got that from one of my extended ascended masters, Achanachan. He says, brother Amenitan, it is time to grow, glow, and flow. And so expand who we are. But first, get an understanding of who we are. At least have a seedling thought that is infinite about who you are and the direction that you find yourself flowing in. We are constantly moving in and out of situations, many situations that we have created. So as I continue with this prayer, let me turn it into an affirmation, a universal affirmation. We all are now affirming. And to affirm means to make true and understand that what you speak is the truth. I now affirm that anything and everything that I am touching, that I am involved in, shall elevate my life, shall grow my skills, shall bring forth my talents, shall bring forth gifts within myself that I could now share with others. May I now continue to affirm and know that I could see this and decree this for myself, that I could move mountains for myself. And what are the mountains that I'm moving? Any obstacles that of limitation that I've placed there in front of myself. So what we all want to be able to do is to melt down limitations in our lives, to melt down restrictions in our lives, to stop ourselves, slow ourselves down from limiting ourselves, not allow others' limited thinking to overwhelm us. We can listen to anybody's thoughts, anybody's ideas, anybody's opinions, anybody's views. You all can listen to, if you, in fact, you can listen to me and just take it as a view, take it as an opinion, take it as a thought. I'm speaking from my truth, but it is universal to you on some level. However, take what is coming to you, and if it's not working for you, then you just put that aside and you go with something that does work for you. But understand, we're all going to the same point. We all have come from the light and we're returning to the light. And so, as we understand that, we will understand that we will have a much larger opportunity than before. See, it's our time to understand the grace that is functioning in our own lives. That's right. We have grace that is functioning all the time in our own lives. And when we understand that grace is moving in our own lives all the time, it just didn't start yesterday, it didn't start at our birth. Many people say, well, I'm blessed and very highly favored. Well, you're not the only one. There are people who may not be living a better life than you, but they are surviving nonetheless. The universe and them are aligning and attuning gradually, and they find themselves being in certain locations where they can receive food and clothing and shelter and everything else. Where there's some things that you already have and you have a difficulty holding on to. So grace is upon everybody, not a few, not any light group of people. Grace enters the minds of people, and grace brings a blessing to people. So, grace is always in our life. We just come to a greater awareness of it. And we might be able to go back into our remembrance when we experienced grace, whether it's now, at this current age bracket that you're in, or maybe in your teens, early adulthoods, maybe when you were a child, maybe in another lifetime. You remember when you experienced grace in your life. So know that everybody can experience some form of grace abundantly. Grace will prosper each and every person. We just have this greater awareness of it, and we have to reawaken to it, and we have to remember it. When we are remembering something, it means we're putting back the puzzle pieces. We're putting back those parts of ourselves that have been scattered, and we're bringing all those parts of ourselves back together so that we can do what? Move forward. That's what we're striving to do. We want to move forward. So we allow ourselves to move forward. Then we allow ourselves to be blessed in a manner where we can receive what we need to receive. And we can become that which we are receiving as well in order to attract more of it. So we want to attract an opportunity. We have to see it around ourselves. We have to recognize that these things have manifested out of spirit and materialized into the physical. Even materialized within our bodies, so that we feel the energy behind it. So what are some of the things that I mentioned on my internet radio show yesterday on Blog Talk Radio on the Age of Remembrance channel, which is the Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance? I talked about this for the first time. The Age of Remembrance the Angel of Grace has brought to me, is where we grow in awareness, greater detailed awareness about things that we see going on in our lives, things that we are events and people and places and relationships and situations that we are continuously observing and experiencing. We see ourselves observe and experience. Then what happens is that we allow ourselves to gather that into our memory base, which is our subconscious. So all of that we are experiencing is coming in to us, and we are placing it in that library, in that infinite library, that subconscious level of ourselves. So sometimes in the beginning we might find ourselves what? Unconscious of what is going on in our lives. See ourselves going up and down with some difficulties, unconscious about something, not having a clue basically. But really, we're not all that unconscious. It's just that this information, these events and the energy behind it, sometimes the energy precedes it. We don't necessarily have enough discernment to figure it out, to understand what it is. But the more disciplined we become at making changes in our own lives and how we respond to things, then we are allowing ourselves to do what? To take in more information. So, take for example, I belong to a closed group on Facebook, and one of the things they're doing is unburdening the soul. In other words, getting rid of what you've been holding on to that may be connected to shame or guilt, or then goes into doubts and illusions, that goes into anger, low self-esteem, and it just keeps going and going and going and going, self-sabotaging. When you get into that mode and think of the things that you have said where you might have been a victim, or you may have oppressed or victimized somebody else, but when you recognize all of those things, then you can forgive yourself. Then you lighten your load. You see, so now you're not walking around with your shoulders drooped down, with your head down. You're not walking around with heavy, laborious breathing and walking. But you are lighter on your feet. You're sleeping better, eating better, speaking better, more articulate, able to say the things that are on your mind, that are in your heart. You're able to speak these things out so that you can have a release, so that you can move forward in your life and not be troubled in your mind, not be troubled in your heart. So it's all about allowing yourself an opportunity to release and let go, lighten your load, so that you can clearly see, which means clearly not see with your physical eye, but with your third eye, clearly hear, take all your five physical senses and upgrade them into your extra sensory perception levels of things, and be able to properly discern and feel this incoming energy, what's behind something and what precedes something. What when an event takes place in your life, you want to be able to be aware of it and sense ahead of time that maybe it is coming from something else, or maybe sense ahead of time that it could be one of your own thoughts and feelings that have circulated through the universe and is now coming back to you. So we don't want to limit ourselves anymore. We want to, but here we are in 2016. We've said this in 2012. We've said it in 2011. Back in 2011, and especially going from 2011 to 2012, what were people talking about? Oh, the world's going to end. Well, we're still here. Just as more wars that have had, more skirmishes that have had, more floods that have gone on, more gas leaks that have popped up, more worry about finances that have come on the scene, more worries about if the money is going to change, if the U.S. dollar is going to remain atop or is it going to fall to the bottom. Everybody's going through something. Everybody. But where are we in this greater picture of something going on? Because there's a lot of layers of things that we've got to be able to push through the layers, go over the layers, and see what we can see. We can't be affected, again, by limitation, be it a limitation that someone chooses to put on your path or on you, or a limitation that you have designed or created on your own, which stems from a bunch of illusions in the first place. So here are some methods, some things that we may want to consider that can help us. These are tools that we can use that can help us overcome, dissolve limitations in our lives, and allow us to really benefit, as the Angel of Grace calls this, the Age of Remembrance. From when 1999 flipped over, that man-made calendar flipped over into 2000, that was Y2K. People were worried about losing things then, but we're still here. Then people worried about 2012, and we're still here. And yes, there may be some collapses of finances coming up. But like the late Reverend Ike used to be says, man's economy is not God's economy. Meaning the God in you, the God and Goddess in you. That's not your economy. Your economy is pure energy. And that what comes from energy anyway. Money is the currency. Once you understand it's a currency, then you can flip the switch. And then you realize that everything around you can prosper you to a whole new level. Because it's all energy anyway. So, the Age of Remembrance is all about teaching yourself how to do what? How to be more aware and how to remember things that are going on in your life that you can change. Think of the things that you can change, or think of some things that you're not ready to change, or think of some things that can't be changed right now because it's not in your it's not within your parameters at this moment for you to be able to switch that event or thing around so that it becomes an open door for you to free yourself on a different level. So one of the foremost things, and there's three things distinctly, or four things. Let's start with the simple affirmations and decrees. Affirmations, decrees, and prayers, that's three. Affirmations, decrees, and prayers are three. Then, what are the other things that you have? Now, not only do you have affirmations, you can affirm something, decree something, and pray on something. And praying means you're talking to that higher force of energy inside your body to help you release those gems that you need to work with. But you have dreams, you have visions, you have meditation. So you got dreams, visions, and meditations that could help you move into a whole nother level of understanding who you are and where you're going. Dreams, visions, and meditations. And you got what? Prayers, affirmations, and decrees that could help you. So that's 6. But what are some of the other things that we find happening around ourselves? Like, how do we, if we're going to teach ourselves to remember that we're in the age of remembrance, that we can capitalize on these things, and we're going to teach ourselves to remember, what are some of the things we need to pay attention to? Well, why not start paying attention to things that you like or dislike? That, energy that you like or dislike, that you find yourself around. Some of the simple things that you dislike, maybe it's someone with a foul mouth. Maybe someone dressing inappropriately around you, but you're not comfortable with it, but nonetheless, it's inappropriate actions and behaviors and thoughts and words around you. So either you can address it, and maybe the person may not listen to you because that's where their head is at, and they want to feel free to do what they want to be free to do, and they feel that inappropriate behavior or words or whatever that's flowing from them is making them comfortable. So you may have to move yourself out of their rim, out of their parameter of things, to be in a place where it's more conducive for yourself. So I'm just saying, be aware